What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, I just got done with my weekend of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm a locals. Got a couple things on my mind. Got some stuff to talk about. Saw some stuff go up. Played some decks, and man, let's just go ahead and get into it. If you like what's going on here, please like and subscribe. Leave some comments down below. If not, it's all good. Let's just go along here and let's get into it. Sprite starter. This card right here, I was just caught off guard because about a couple weeks ago, I played in in a tournament, and they ran out of OTS, and I was like, man, that sucks. So they gave us a choice between Amazing Defenders and Power of the Elements, and I was going back and forth, and I said, hey, let me just grab a pack of Power of the Elements. Pulled a Sprite starter. Was a little disappointed because someone about two choices over ended up getting the Ultimate Slayer, and I was like, oh, that would have been cool to get, it's just how it goes. But what was awesome was I ended up forgetting about the card's existence completely, and then today at my locals, I was going through one of my deck boxes looking for a card for my friend to borrow, and I found it, and I was like, oh man, let me check it out. Let me post it up, and wow. I was surprised to see how much it rose. It is right now. You got these damage zones right here, but you go to the near mint unlimiteds, they are 1089, 1090. They're pretty much like $11 cards. Here's mine right here. We got it over here representing. But yeah, like we got the first editions right here. You basically get them for almost $11 or 10.95, and it just this is this is pretty much like this is a situation that a lot of players who have been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time, they already understand this. But for, I guess, people that are either new to the game or coming in from Master Duel, this pretty much happens when you have a ban list that hits a deck in a way where people believe that, oh, it's really not going to be as good as everyone thought. But then as the meta kind of slowly starts to develop, especially in the beginning, people realize that, hey, you know what, this deck really isn't dead. Like, this deck still has a good amount of plays. This deck still can rock. And what ends up happening is cards that that are really good end up just getting, people just start going for it, and it's a mixture of naturally going up and people just saying, okay, well, you know what, the deck didn't get hit. People need Sprite Starter. I'm just gonna go get Sprite Starter. So this is a case where literally the card was like at $3. It was even lower, but it kind of started to go up a little bit because people were running Sprite again because they were afraid of the ban list. So people did start to pick it up. So it did kind of slowly went up from that $2 price point to the 3. And then the second that ban list hit, well, it was started kind of slowly, but then the second we knew exactly what our list was going to be, boom, it just made that shot because it made sense. Everyone needs it. It's a really good card, and this was just a good surprise for me because I was able to get a little bit back from it. But this right here is just a lesson for people that are newer to the game, that it's like it isn't always just the end of the road for like certain cards. Like, you have to understand which cards are the ones that are just gonna spring up. Like, it's not always an easy prediction, but when you have a card like this, it is very easy. Sprite Sprint. This is another card that is being heavily used. It was way higher. It dipped down, but now it's kind of slowly starting to stabilize, and it is even starting to go up a little bit. You could get them for like $6.98, kind of like in the $7 like price point range. This is like really good. Like, I was playing it this weekend, and man, the effect it has, it really helps the deck, and it becomes a card that you really kind of need to watch out and pay attention for. But it does, one thing I will say, without Sprite Elf, it is way easier to play around everything, because now that all the things they make are available to be targeted, you could go ahead and ignore, like, because like, I guess before, before, you, when you had Sprite Elf, you had to focus on Sprite Elf, or you had to play around everything and just try to completely overwhelm it. But without Sprite Elf, you could really focus in on all the problems and start to pick apart and break the board. So that's something that's kind of a big issue, where I wish they would have made it a little bit easier for them to get the Toad out. But then at the same time, if they would have been able to get Toad out, they probably would have been the top deck. Gigantic Sprite is also going up. This card was down at down in the $2, $2.50 range, and it's kind of started going everywhere. Now the first edition is just starting to straight shoot all the way up, but the unlimited still kind of staying low. But you got the near mint first ed, $4.95, $4.99. These are pretty much, there's no unlims right now left on the market. They're all first edition right now, and you can pretty much get it for like $5. This is like another case where it's like, since you got rid of Sprite, the next best card is going to be gigantic. So that's it. Just kind of like makes sense, but it's not even though it does the lock and prevents you from getting nibbed, it still doesn't fully replace the elf. So that's probably why it's not like at $20. But this actually could be something that, if Sprite start to prove itself and it starts to slowly climb and solidify itself as a top deck, I wouldn't be surprised if these go to 10, 15, potentially $20, but to match the elf. But honestly, this might be a $10 card if this card continues to prove itself and just starts to be the best deck. Sprite Red from the OTS pack. I totally forgot that this came super, and I guess in the beginning it was at 2, shot down and do this little V for victory, because now it's starting to go back up as people realize once again that Sprite is the best deck. Well, I shouldn't say is the best deck, but Sprite is one of the best decks. It's probably right now I kind of feel the format will be a mixture. It's probably gonna be four decks that I feel are gonna be the hardcore top contenders, which will be the Kashtira, Sprite, Branded, and Sword Soul. Those are like the 4 decks that I feel are really gonna be are gonna be contending to try to get the top spots. We might have a four deck format where like those are the top decks, but I feel one of those decks might fall, and then we're gonna get a trifecta like we usually have. But I'm sorry about that. We're gonna talking about that. That should be in a different video. We're talking about the market here. You get these cards for $2.30 to $3. You can get, it's like in the $2 to $3 price point range. Just kind of makes sense. Like Sprite Red is really like you usually want to take out monster effects. That's like the thing you're mostly kind of like worried about, especially if you don't want to get nibbed. So this is cool to be super. I understand why that one's going up. Sprite Blue, just obligatory Sprite Blue. The ultimate rare is going for $60, which is pretty good. You get the secret rare right here for 30. If you're really looking, obviously if you're looking to play the deck, you might as well just go for the secret. This is actually a really good price because it was going for 40. So ironically, when the deck was just a good option and it wasn't the best deck in the interior element format, it was creeping to 40. And now that it is one of the best decks, it is now where you could really get them right here at 32 to 31. So if you're looking to play the deck, this isn't a bad point to get it in if you have the money and you're already looking to go into it. So I would probably just go for it now, because like I said, if Sprite continues this way and people start to innovate a little more and find more combos, then I could see this going to 50. Because like this is not going to get a reprint anytime soon, most likely. We're probably going to get a reprint of this. Well, maybe battles, because I don't know if we're going to get the tins this year. So maybe we could see this in battles. But if you want to play it now for the next 3-4 months, I think get it before this potentially might go up. Because this continues to be good, I could see this going maybe to between this price and 50. It's a really big range, I understand, but that's just how Yu-Gi-Oh is. Sometimes things shoot to one price and they crash back down to another. So this just has the potential to go all over the place. Speaking of Nibiru, I talked about Nibiru earlier, but Nibiru Primal Being, this one's starting to go up. I remember this was like at the $1.70. It's like, oh, this says 275. I guess I'm thinking more of an older price, but it is starting to slowly start to climb up. Even though Sprite, still has the ability to like basically like make this card completely irrelevant, there's other decks that don't. Like if you're playing Sword Soul, unless they drop Baron, or even if they have Baron, because Baron still kind of pretty expensive. But yeah, you're playing Sword Soul, even if you're playing Branded, depending on how much they get out, you could very much, drop this on them. Even you could even drop this on a Sprite if they don't start with Gigantic and they try to do other stuff, or maybe they have like a weird, they have a very weird kind of combo line and they're forced to like summon their 5th monster ends up being Sprite him for some reason. I don't know, but like Nibiru does seem like a really good card in this format. It is starting to go up. That was the ultra rare. Even the premium gold. See, this is the case sometimes when it doesn't matter because the card's so good that people just do not care. Sometimes the card is just too good to care. It's like it's so good you're like, I could care less what version. Even though I could see the ultra just makes this does. It's probably the picture not really doing it justice, but I really do like the ultra look of it. I like the ultra rare one. But yeah, this right here, damage, see, near mint for 420. Yeah, these hilarious. These right here, very much trying to go up no matter what version of it. You got the prismatic ones. Let's see, how much are the prismatic ones? You know what? Yeah, that's a heavy play. Light play 688. 590. So this is like $6 for the prismatic and all. And then let's see, secret rare. Secret rare does look pretty nice. I do like these, but these are hella climbing. Like, see, these were in the four. These were the same price as like the gold rares, and now these are already starting to climb up. You can get it right here, $9.90, $10. So $10 for the secret rare. So these are starting to climb up. If you are interested in these cards, I would get them very much sooner rather than later. Board wiping is very much becoming like the way, like, you know, like the way you kind of get rid of stuff. I remember I remember I talked about I remember I was talking about how what was I talking about? I was talking about the price of Dark Ruler No More kind of coming down, and then someone mentioned that it only came down because it got a reprint, and I was like, yeah, true, but it's just that, you know, it's just it is true that it got a reprint, but sometimes the way you get rid of things in Yu-Gi-Oh, the cards you want to use change drastically on the format. Like there's some formats where you very much need to negate the entire board, and you don't mind giving up your ability to like do damage or something, you know, like that's kind of like irrelevant. Or there's some formats where you just need to destroy stuff, and once you get rid of it, you're fine. So it's a little bit of like hit and miss, like you know, like with the formats, or which card is going to do the best. Like, would you rather Dark Ruler No More something, or would you rather Rageki, your Dark Hole board? Speaking of Dark Hole, is actually the next card. Hilarious. Talking about Dark Hole right now, I'm noticing that almost every single holographic copy of Dark Hole is pretty much $1. Like you look at, I'm gonna do this what I usually do, because there's a lot of different, you know, a lot of different holographic copies. But starting with this one, you got these heavily played unlimiteds. You know, once you go here to these near mints, they're 199. So, you know, these ones over here, like the secret rares from the legendary collection. See, these were already kind of slowly going up. These, see, have them 3, and both of them are starting to go up. You can get damage and heavily playeds. But let's see, look at light play unlimited is for $8, 524 with the 7, so like $8. These cards, this is pretty much like, so, like, I don't want to. It's not 100% proof, but this is very much a product of the format right now. Is more, you get more benefit from simply destroying things than from actually negating the board. So it's like it's, I guess, like in the older formats, like with tier elements and with Sprite, when you had Elf and all this stuff, you know, you essentially just wanted to negate the entire board, and then you wanted to try to break it, because, you know, because like with the tier elements, if you just Darkhold the entire board, they'll just get a whole bunch of effects, and they're just gonna reset another board, and it's like Darkhold doesn't do anything. If you know, it's and it just made more sense for you to use the Dark Ruler No More. If you were playing Sprite and they had the Elf, it was like, okay, I rather just use Dark Ruler No More, because you had the Elf, you had the Toad, you had, you know, another interrupt, you know, you had, then you would have the freaking Red, you would have Carrot. You just had so many things to deal with that it just made more sense to play Dark Ruler No More and then try to break the board. In this format, since you have less things to worry about like that, it makes more sense to just simply drop down a Dark Hole, break a board, and get to it. And that's kind of very much like reflecting. I haven't checked the price. That's very much reflecting on what's going on here, because you see, like, these, like all the moderate plays are 75 cents, but once you get to the near mints, 75, 90. Even these ones from the supers that came out recently are starting to go into the dollar range. So if you have Dark Holes, make sure you get your copies, because they are all just going to start to just kind of slowly go up. Even this one right here is 80 cents. Boom, 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 boom. All the ultra rare ones are starting to go up. So if you have your Dark Holes, you need Dark Hole, you just get them now before they shoot up. Same thing going with Rageki. Rageki was already kind of in the $3 to kind of $4 range, but, you know, this was kind of staying the same. But like, they are all starting to kind of go up. Even the prismatic one, I noticed these were like in the threes, and now, probably like a few months ago, look at that, now these are already kind of started going up, just kind of going up and down. Heavily played for 3, but like once you get to the regular ones, they're $5-6. They're the $5-6 range. So like, board breaking is very big in this format, and I very much recommend you get your Dark Holes and Ragekis now, because like I said, these are literally free board breaks. You don't have to pay any kind of cost, and you just bam, just go for it. I mean, I understand Dark Hole destroys your own monsters, but if if you use it in a turn 1 or turn 2 setting, you're most likely not going to have any monsters, so it's like, it's basically a Rageki. So This, and if you get Dark Hole and Rageki in your hand, you don't have to worry about negates. You bam bam and it's done. So this is, if yeah, I would just probably want to get it before every single copy ends up in the $10 range. That's just my fear with Rageki. Mitsu the Insect Ninja. I was super freaking happy for the little homie at the locals. I'm not gonna give out too much information on that stuff. Keep it vague, but little homie, coming over to the locals, I try to help him, give him like pointer, little like pointers and stuff. He really does want to do good, and like he plays against us, like playing meta, playing rogue, playing some like really like really horrible degenerate strategies, and sometimes I really feel bad because he shows up, he wants to play, and he does have a good time, but sometimes he sits there and plays the tier guy, he plays the sprite guy, he plays the this, he plays the sub terror, just yeah. But anyway, yesterday he finally got a win in, well, I'm pretty sure I don't know if that's the I don't know if that was like his first win or anything, but the homie got a win. I was like super happy for him. I believe he was playing Dino and he played his ninja deck, and he got a win on Dino, which was dope. And it had ninjas on the mind, so I just want to go ahead and go over Mitsu because I totally forgot. I'm like, yeah, Mitsu just shot up in price. She was literally worth like nothing. They were like apparently like 53. I don't know if she was that low, but she was not really anything. And then boom, now that I think it was Jesse Cotton. I think it was Jesse Cotton who did like a ninja profile, and now look at that, she's $8. She's like $8 to $9, and that's just hilarious. And I saw him; he had his three. He probably got him when they're super low. He likes to run like decks with like like with girls like that. So he probably just got the deck because of her, and then bam, now he ends up with a really good deck. Man, Men's the Battle Ninja. He was playing. He was very much like playing me because I ended up playing him in the tournament, and he used this on me, and he knew he did some combos. Like I see why he got his win. He was able to do some combos. Like this guy, I believe this is like a negate, and then lets them all attack directly. And it's just, and yeah, it was actually really good because there's a point where he did actually bring me to a point where like, oh wow, like if I don't do the right move, he's actually gonna he'll actually win this turn. So I ended up having to actually I'm having to come up with a combo like on the spot to make sure I didn't lose. So like yeah, this has like legit plays, and I very much understand why he kind of won. Kind of same thing here. It was kind of nothing, and boom, it just kind of shot up. That's obviously to the Jesse Khan thing, but still like this deck does have plays, and like, it does have some weird stuff because like I think it's kind of a case of where you see it and you kind of let things go and you're like, okay, it's fine, and then boom, out of nowhere you're like, crap, like now he has this fusion that negates, then they could all attack directly, and you just sit there and you're like, wow, I'm about to take gonna take like 6,000 damage and I can't do anything. So that's something you got to watch out for with this deck very much. And the last card I want to talk about is Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. Now it's not really anything like we all know that the ultimate rare is like just it's like over 20. It was a little higher before everything, but something that I noticed and I was tripping is the secret rare was like 250, and then boom, like what's going on here? It is $7, heavily played, light played 8, 7. This thing is like a $7 to $9 card, and I'm about to jump in the bulk and find this stuff. But I'm like going crazy because these were like, I was certain that they were nothing. I was certain that they were nothing and no one cared about them, but no, I was wrong. If you have these secret rares and you're not using them, I would just say you post them up now because they're going for $7. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Peace out. Catch you guys in the next one. Later.